So this is something, Cory, that you brought up a few days ago that I thought it was a really good question. And obviously the Stars on the road against Edmonton, they're on their kind of like Canadian/West Coast road trip because you've got Edmonton, Calgary, Seattle, and then Seattle again. So obviously a very key 4-game stretch. But the question that you presented, what is the most important thing for the Stars as the regular season wraps up and they prep for the playoffs? Since it was your excellent idea, I think it only makes sense that you would start.
You know, I did see NHL playoff tiers, so that was on the Athletic, and they said where each team sits and what's at stake down the stretch. And so they were kind of going through what each one of these teams kind of needs to do or needs to accomplish, and the first thing they said about the Stars was getting Mikko comfy.
Okay.
And I thought that was an interesting take on that because Mikko Rantanen's comfort level, Miro's uncertain availability for the first round hangs over everything, but in the regular season, all that matters is home ice against Colorado. You and I have been discussing that for a while.
Yeah.
And making sure Rantanen is firing on all cylinders come playoff time. He's had a decent enough start, but he needs to be fully comfortable with his line mates, and that's Hintz and Jason Robertson, and his off-ice life if Dallas is going to live up to its full potential and win the Cup. These last few weeks should be all about putting Rantanen in a good headspace entering the postseason. Because, Kevin, what did we see with McDavid last year? Yes, Edmonton was good. But whenever it was time for him to take over, he did. And even whenever you go and look at what Nate McKinnon was able to do with Colorado, I know the Stars beat him, but there were moments where you're like, holy crap, how are we going to stop that guy? And whenever you have an elite kind of player like that, what are you going to do? You know, how, are they going to be able to step up in that moment? This is a very talented Stars team. So I really liked hearing that and reading that. And so I was kind of like putting some thought into, you know, what I was feeling for this team. And I would say getting Miro back is one of them.
Okay.
I know that's, you know, we don't know exactly when that's going to be. We don't like have a complete clue, but that is definitely one of them. Better team defense. If this team plays better team defense, not individual defense, team defense. I know I got to cover because Oettinger is going to need this, you know, in this spot. I need all these things. And then win more puck battles. Win more puck battles for this team so that they can get more shots, more efficient shots. If they can win more puck battles, those are three things that I think are significantly important. And I think those are things that DeBoer's definitely driving home with this group right now.
Now, I'm with you on a lot of this, especially as it's becoming more and more apparent, like you referenced, with Minnesota having some struggles and Colorado looking like they're heating up, that C3 is going to be Colorado, and you have the inside track on C2, and so you would open up the playoffs against Colorado. Winnipeg's still an opportunity, but you're going to need a lot of things to go right for that to happen. So for me, and again, we were going to do this a couple of days ago, and so we saw instant results on what I wanted. Stop the leaky otter, all right? I understand that the defense can be better. I agree with that. For sure, I agree with that. And I think that's a strong argument you can make for many a very good Dallas Stars team over the years. But it's not all the defense. There have been good looks. I will argue for Oettinger, pretty run-of-the-mill looks that he has not been able to stop, and they have converted into goals. So to me, that part is what needs to happen. And guess what? Once we suggested that it go down, what happened in the very next one? Boom! Shutout.
Yes, that was a great way to do it.
Cory is also very excited because not only do we get to watch training here at Toyota Stadium, food has arrived.
FC Dallas.
And so
wonderful.
I think he's very excited about that. But yeah, for me, when it comes to the Stars, it is shoring up Jake Oettinger because, like you said, and it's not just Oettinger, it is any goalie in the history of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're going to need a goalie that can steal you a game or a couple of games or a series along the way if you plan on hoisting the cup.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know what next level Oettinger has. Like, because we just haven't seen that version of it, right? Like, man, that's the best goal net minding I've ever seen. I don't know if he has that.
Not this season, I don't think we have. I think you've seen glimpses of it in the playoffs or anytime he plays Minnesota.
But the calming factor, though, Kevin, with the defense is Miro. And it just, everybody on the ice knows what their job and their role is, and if they don't, he picks it up. Like he's the one that picks up that all right, that didn't happen, I got it. So for now, I would love for them to do it. But I do believe that Mikko part of it, getting him comfortable in this offense, getting him comfortable and getting those repetitions with that line is going to be very important down this stretch for them because, man, they're going to need that offensive production whenever all else fails. You have a special player that does something special.
Do you need me to give live scoring updates as Team White has gone up on Team Pink 1-0?
I'll tell you what, this is the most active like I've ever seen. These guys are going at it out here. Somebody just texted in and said they was really cool. They were driving behind the stadium for a drop-off, and they had to stop because the team was crossing the street from the practice field. They thought that was pretty cool to see them coming across over here.
Now, Alec, I would love for you to weigh in on this. Is there one bullet point in particular that you would like to see the Stars focus on heading into the playoffs?
For me, if they can stay healthy for one main reason, everyone's going to say that just be available and everything, but because you had a massive headliner move in the Mikko Rantanen trade, and there's been a lot of people that I've seen on the social medias that are like 50-50 on his impact so far. If you can just keep like your top few lines intact, keep everybody on the ice so we can get a little bit more chemistry built going into the postseason, that's what I would be happy with. I'm not disappointed with his impact or anything. I'm not in that group, but I would like to see what everything looks like when everybody's really comfortable and everybody's actually available. So staying healthy for the sake of building that chemistry going into a postseason run, I think would be great. I'm tired of seeing guys getting hit in the face with a puck and having absolutely horrible luck. It feels like it's happening every other game now that somebody's going down with a freak incident that, it might not be big or anything, but you're like, ooh, made me catch my breath a little bit there, made me pause and think that could have been really, really bad. So I just want everybody to be available so maybe we can see what we were kind of hoping for, and maybe some of those people that are doubting how powerful this Stars offense really is, maybe they can start to see the results that they were expecting, because I don't think it's going to happen overnight, and I think everybody needs to be available for that to happen.
And so here's my concern about that. I just don't think that's going to happen from a perspective of by the time the playoffs start, you're going to be like, let's say full strength or as full strength as possible, just because I am worried. I know Tyler Seguin's on the way back, but I believe DeBoer and Nil, when it feels like they're dropping hints for us about Miro and the first round of the playoffs. So what I am concerned about, too, is you're not going to get that full-strength Dallas Stars team until at least the second round. But I do still like this Dallas Stars team.
You think you can win that first round without him?
I do. But
beyond that, you think he's kind of a necessity?
Well, I do, because, and here's the other thing. You asked the key question. Do I think they can win that first-round series? Yes, I do. If they had Miro, would I feel very confident that they would? And there's another goal for White. That's 2-0. They're putting it on him, even though that's the most dangerous lead in soccer. And so I would feel very confident about the Stars' ability to defeat Colorado with Miro in tow. And so I would go from think to confident.
Okay.
And so obviously that same logic is going to hold up whether you're, if you play Winnipeg in the second round, if you play Vegas.
Lose a peg.
Yeah, lose a peg.
Yeah, we got to start that now, Kevin.
In the second round, if you play Vegas in the conference finals. So, yes, I think you can win, but the closer they tell me that Miro is to coming back, I think that's a way bigger deal than Seguin coming back. And I don't feel like that's a particularly controversial statement.
From the 903, Jason Robertson, B. Robo again, that we get a goal-scoring machine and become our McKinnon or our McDavid this playoff run. I'm not relying on Robertson for that. I am relying on Rantanen for that. But
interesting.
Robertson, Kevin, he has lived up to what I wanted him a little more this year. Last year, obviously there was some stuff earlier in the season, and I was like, come on, dude. And it looks like he's kind of found that groove again. But we've seen him in the playoffs. You're like, where did you go? And, when, as things get tighter, he's kind of like, well, I just don't have that. I want to see a little more toughness out of him. I want to see him putting shoulders into people, clearing the space for himself.
You think he can?
I don't know. We haven't seen it,
yeah.
So I don't know. He's always.
I don't know about that.
It's more like it's more finesse, and I think it was robot, like a computer-minded kind of guy. And there's another element of hockey that gets more physical whenever the playoffs hit.
Man, I would really like to continue to see Bichsel just chump folks out
Dude,
on ice.
That is becoming one of my favorite things to see because he doesn't care, and he knows he's bigger and stronger than most of the people on the ice.
Just about anybody that you're going to match up with. Now, is it concerning that every now and again he has as many hits as the rest of the Stars team combined? Yes, that is very concerning, but I don't think you're going to be able to change the overall physical mentality of this team at this point in the season.
And probably not. And, being fast, DeBoer likes that.
He does. He does.